Hello everyone and welcome to Unity C# tutorials, and welcome to the 6th tutorial in the series. And my name is William, and today we're going to be talking about a fun thing called arrays and lists. Now, why do we need to use arrays? Well, first I need to explain what arrays are. So arrays are essentially a list of numbers, and so we can call them based. So it's pretty much you have this group of numbers and they're all part of one variable type, and it's very useful, especially when you have dozens or hundreds of the same type of variable. Because let's say you want to have multiple like nums, right? So how about different IDs? So public int item ID1, public int item ID2, public int item ID3, and essentially what this means is it's very repetitive. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create arrays, because this is not effective. So I'll show you what an array is. So let's do public int health int health is equal to new, and you have to do new int, and then 3, and then 10, 20, and 100. And now I'm going to explain to you what this is. So we're calling a public integer, and we have to use the brackets here to explain that it is a health. To explain that it's an array. And then we have the array name, and then is equal to new integer, and then we set it to 3 here. And then we set the values of this 3 here in the section, in the array. So what we do is let's play, and then let's see what happens here. See, look, we have a array here with 3 different values, and it's 10, 20, 100 just like in code. Now what happens if do you have to declare the array? No, you can do public string names is equal to new string 5. You don't have to name everything immediately. See, look, we have names, there's 5 values, but they're all empty, so we don't have to declare them at the start. But the thing about arrays is that there's a list of them. That there's a set type, so we can't add more than what we set it out to. So if we add 5 to the original one, there can only be 5 units in the array. And so let me explain something, a new loop type, which I haven't shown you earlier. It's called for each. Wait, no. Before I do that, let me print out health 2 and print health. This is how you call values in an array. You take the array name, and then you put the brackets, the index. So this is 2, so it's 0, 1, 2, so it'll be 100, and this is 0, so it's the first one, or 10. And let's play it and see what happens in the console. And as you can see in the console, it plays 100, and then it prints 10. And so what we also want to do is we want to show you a for each loop. So for each are essentially loops that you can use to call arrays. So for each string str in names, what we can do is we can print. No, let's do instead let's do int integer in health. Then we can print health I. No, we have to print. What am I doing? We're not. This isn't the for loop. Integer. And as we can see, we get. There's an error there. Oh, I know what I'm doing. We have to print integer. We don't call call. What am I doing? I don't use for each loops as much, so that's why I'm a little confused. Sorry guys, but let's play it again and then see that we get 10, 20, and 100. So this is useful if you just want to, you know, call an array of values. So that's how that works. And so other than for each loops, we can also use a for loop as well to call these. So for and I is equal to 0. I is less than names, health.length, I++. Now, actually, let's do so yeah, we can call you know, we can use for loops, and I prefer using for loops over for eaches, but I think you should use whatever you feel more comfortable with. So let's print health I. Let's go back and let's play. And then, like previously, we get 10, 20, and 30 inside the for loop. And so now that I've showed you about arrays, let me teach you about lists. And the thing about arrays is that, and the thing about lists is that lists are like arrays, but they can have values added and removed. So let's do two lists. So public list string. This is how you call a list. Public list string names. So let's see, lowercase s for string. Name list is equal to new list string. There we go. And we can, and like arrays, strings can be any. Lists can be anything, like strings or integers. Yeah. So int health list is equal to new list int. So this is how you call lists. And so what we can do is, so we can set these to whatever we want. So let's do names list dot add, so that we can add values to this. Dot add hello. Let's add a string hello there. Let's go here, and as we can see here in the names list, there's nothing there. But if we press play, we add hello to it. So we see we can add values to it. We would get an error if we try to add a value to an array. So then we can add another thing, dot add world. Then what we can do is we can print, and we can print this like we print the array. So names list 1. No, 0, 0. Sorry. And then names list, we can also remove values, dot remove at, and then we can move it based on index. And there's others, you know, if you look at a list, you can do all these different functions like clear, contain. See, it's much more useful than arrays, but you know, arrays are still useful sometimes, so it's up to the current problem. So names list dot so we print that, and then let's print arrays names list again, and I'll show you that the values actually change. And as you can see, it becomes hello, then world, but we're printing at the same index. So what that means is that we added the value, so it's 0 is the value, then we remove the 0 here after we print it, and then we print it again, and then we get a different value. And so that's it for arrays and lists. And then the next section, we're going to be talking about functions and classes. No, just functions. And that'll be a second to the last one, and I'll see you then.